Hey everybody, Jason back with another review. I'm continuing the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and this time I am reviewing A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3, The Dream Warriors. And this one was also one of my favorites growing up. It was one I continued to watch over and over and over. And I have it again in this box set, the Nightmare on Elm Street collection, which I have stated already that I do highly recommend getting this one. It is fairly inexpensive to have the entire original series in one box set. I love it. Just be able to go places. If I'm traveling, I can take this with me. It's very, look, as you can see, it's skinny, and on the side it also has the there you go, right there, so it can fit on your DVD shelf. Perfect. Alright, we'll get right into it, but I'll cover the actors and actresses that participated in this. Let's see. And you'll love this one, because I did. Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson. Yes, she makes a return back into this one. She was the original girl in Part 1. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch my other review, and you'll catch up. Of course, Robert Englund playing Freddy again. Craig Wasson, who plays Dr. Neil Gordon. Excuse me. Patricia Arquette plays Kristen Parker. Ken Sagos plays Kincaid. Rodney Eastman, he plays Joey, and Joey is he's mute in this movie. We'll get more into that in a little bit. And Lawrence Fishburne as Max. So this is a young, back then, Larry Fishburne. So if you do enjoy his movies and TV shows, you might want to watch this. When you see him here, you'll recognize him. And I'm looking back over here, and one thing that was missing in Part 2 was the presence of Wes Craven. And I'm looking back here, screenplay by Wes Craven. So he did not direct this one, but he did write the screenplay. So we do get a lot of the original feel, which is another reason why they brought back Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson. So basically, Nancy Thompson went away after the events of Part 1. She ended up going to school, going to college, and I believe it's 6 years after the original series. So she has been through college, and she is also she's becoming a doctor. And in this one, she is an intern who goes to the I wish I could on top of my head tell you what the name of this place is. I should know, but it's okay. She goes, and it's where all of the patients have sleeping disorders, and she's over there as an intern. So what happens in the beginning is we are introduced to Kristen Parker, and she's in the middle of a dream, and this one scared me as a kid, this part of it right here. But actually what happens in the beginning, before that, she's building something and painting and putting glue on some popsicle sticks, and when it zooms out, it is Nancy Thompson and the Walsh family's house. And this is the house that she's been dreaming of. And she goes to bed, and she wakes up in front of the house on 1428 Elm Street, and this time it's boarded up. It's nasty looking, and this part freaked me out. So she follows this little girl into the boiler room of the basement, where we saw in the first couple, where you do see Freddy's claw, and you hear the boiler go off, and the little girl says that Freddy's home. So Freddy has come back alive. Freddy's back, and Kristen grabs her and runs in a maze. It turns into a maze. The floor turns into some type of goo. I don't even know what it is. But she cannot run. She's running in place, and she can't go anywhere. And there's Freddy. She gets free, and then when she notices the little girl saying something like, "Stop it, you're hurting me," or something, it's a skeleton. And she wakes up. Freaked me out as a kid just because, I don't know, it's something about the music that's played here as well. It's outstanding music again, which I had playing in the background, but unfortunately my internet must be having problems right now. But anyway, she has checked into this clinic, not clinic, but this place to take care of people's dreams and sleep. Basically what's happening is all these kids are having the same pretty much nightmare of Freddy Krueger. And this is where you're introduced into a couple more characters. And I've also said Kincaid, he's always in trouble. He is the troublemaker of the group. Joey, he is the mute guy who he's soft-spoken. He can't speak really, so but he's there. I do like both Kincaid and Joey. He also met into the Sleepwalker guy. I can't recall his name on top of my head right now, but he does have a pretty outstanding dream where he makes all these puppets. So you do find out, though, in this movie that Freddy can... I should take that back. You've seen in the past, he takes different forms, like he did in the first one. He, was that teacher with the hall pass thing in part one. But this one, you find out, you see him as a snake. You see him as this little puppet that gets created, and he grows into Freddy, slices his arms up, and then pulls what I believe is his veins, and makes him walk like a puppet. And he's a sleepwalker. So what happens, there's a church attached to this place. I believe it's a Catholic hospital. And he's way up on top near the bell. And Joey wakes up this other guy who's in a wheelchair who, he must have... I think he jumped and broke his legs and paralyzed. He wakes him up and wakes everybody up and notices that he jumps to his death. That's what everybody believes, but it's Freddy, of course, in his dream. But he looks like he's awake, so what I believe he's awake, but he's still controlled by Freddy. Falls to his death. You're also introduced to, again, Nancy Thompson shows up and becomes a little bit of kind of a love interest, I guess, to Dr. Gordon, Craig Wasson again. She tells everybody in group that she has had problems 6 years before with her friends and Freddy. They're all aware of this guy, and she talks to Dr. Gordon, and they decide to take a experimental drug called Hypnosil, and this is supposed to take care of their dreams. Well, he ends up doing it. And at this time also, they all are in group and they all go to sleep. Well, this is where we find out that everybody has they call them Dream Warriors because each one of them have their own special power. For example, Kristen Parker can bring people into their dreams. Kincaid is strong. You see him bending a chair, so he's real strong in his dreams. Also here, you find that Joey is taken away by a nurse that turns out to be Freddy, and he's tied to a bed by a bunch of tongues, because that's what they say, tongue-tied. He's mute, he can't talk, and so when they do wake up later on, this other doctor, she walks in on them, they all wake up, and Joey's on the ground in a coma. So the whole Hypnosil thing looked like it didn't work out because it turns out one of them isn't. A couple of them have passed away. You get that wannabe actress girl who has all these. She burns her wrist, I believe, with the cigarette, and she is pulled up and smashed into the TV by Freddy. Some memorable scenes here, memorable characters too. So I do like that about this one, that the second one didn't have. What happens is we find out also that Nancy's father, who's played by John Saxon, returns here, and he's no longer with the Force, but I think he's a security guard or something like that. And he does remember what happens to Freddy, what they did with his bones when all the parents got together and killed him. You're also introduced in this movie to a nun who tells Dr. Gordon what needs to happen, and they need to have the bones and they need to lay it to rest once and for all to get rid of Freddy. So while the other group needs to go in and fight Freddy with all their special characters, Dr. Gordon and John Saxon, the Mr. Thompson, go to a junkyard where Freddy's bones are, and you also Mr. Thompson is killed here because what happened? He actually gets thrown into the back of a car, into the Cadillac, and is stabbed. During this time, they're fighting Freddy. They kind of go their own way, so you have a couple killings here. When it finally happens, they're in this one room with a bunch of mirrors. Joey's special or secret thing that he does is he actually screams and yells, and it's ear piercing to Freddy. And at the same time, Dr. Gordon is putting holy water and burying the bones once and for all. Nancy at this time is also killed by Freddy, who joked and pretended to be her own father, said that he had passed, and then Freddy killed her. So it's the end of Heather Langenkamp's character as Nancy Thompson. And at the end of it, there's a lot more going on here, but this is kind of the sped up version. At the end of it, you find that Dr. Gordon has also taken Kristen Parker's house, put it in his bedroom, and at the end of it, you see a light turn on in there, and then that's the end of it. So again, outstanding film. The original one I gave a 10 out of 10. I gave the second one a 6 out of 10. This one I do give a strong 8 out of 10. Highly recommend watching this one. As a fan, definitely gotta watch this one. If you're not a fan and you just love horror, gotta watch this one. This is one of the fan favorites. So watch this one. Has some memorable characters and some pretty awesome music. So everybody, take care. This is Jason again. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that. I would definitely appreciate that. Also, like my Facebook page of the DVD Review Dude. It is at www.facebook.com/DVD Review Dude. And I would love to see you over there. That's where you're going to find my latest updates to this channel, along with other stuff. So take care, and I will see you next time when we review A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, and that is The Dream Master. So see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks a lot.